Hi YouTube, Tim Unkert from UnkertEducation.com here. In this video, I want to talk about lists in Python. So I have a file called list.py open, and I'm going to create a list. And to do that, let's just save it to a variable called my_list. And we use square brackets like so. And we can pass in a bunch of different types of variables. I'm going to use strings. So I'm just going to have a string of names. So I'll have Tim, and I have commas after each item in the list. So Aaron. Let's do Ben, let's do Joe, and let's do Matt. Okay, and we can start by just printing out my list. And if we run this, we just get our list. So that's pretty cool. Now we can also figure a lot of things out with the list and do a lot of things with the list. So the first thing I want to do is print the length of the list. So I'll print and do len and then pass in the variable my list. And if I do that, I get 5. Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in the list. Okay, we can also remove the last item from the list with and save it to a variable. Let's say we have a variable last item, and we set it equal to mylist.pop. Okay, and let's print out the last item and print out the list. And if we run that, we get the last item is Matt. That's been removed from the list. All right, so what else can we do? We can also clear the list. So we can do mylist.clear. And now if we print out my list, we're going to get an empty list. Okay, so we just get these square brackets down here. Okay, let's comment some of this stuff out. And let's do a few more things with the list. We could also count the occurrences of an item in the list. So I'm going to add a few things here. Let's add it right here. Let's add another Tim and another Tim. There. Okay, so now we have 3 Tims in the list. So let's print mylist.count, and we'll pass in Tim, and we should get 3. So let's run this. And we get 3 as expected. We can also find the index of the first occurrence of an item in the list. So let's say we wanted to find the index of Joe, which should be 0, 1, 2, 3. It should be index 3. What we can do is we can do mylist.index, and we'll do Joe. All right, so now if we run this, we get index 3. We can also insert an item in the list at a specific point. So let's do mylist.insert, and let's insert at index 2. Let's insert the name Billy. Okay, and now let's print my list. And if we do that, we get Billy at index 2. We can also remove the first item of the list. So let me clear some of this stuff out, or comment some of this stuff out, and let's remove this first Tim here and put it in a variable called first item, and we'll say mylist.pop, but this time we'll pass in an index into this pop method, and we'll pass in the index 0 because we want to remove the first item. Now let's print out the first item and print out my list. And if we do that, we get Tim as the first item, and then the list starts with Aaron, not Tim this time. Let's comment this stuff out. All right, we can also sort the list, okay? And this sorts by ASCII value. So if I do mylist.sort, okay, this is going to sort by ASCII value, and I'll show you what I mean with that in a moment. And let's just print out my list to start. So if we run this, we get Aaron, Ben, Joe, Matt, Tim, Tim, Tim. So sorted in alphabetical order, but if we add something to the list, we can do that with append. Let's add something. Let's take mylist.append, and let's append Aaron with lowercase. Okay, and now let's do mylist.sort, and let's print my list. All right, so if we do this, we now get Aaron, Ben, Joe, Matt, Tim, 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 and then lowercase Aaron at the end, because the lowercase a has a higher ASCII value than the uppercase letters. right, let's comment this stuff out. And actually, let's get rid of this stuff so you can see the original list. Let's go all the way up here. We can also remove an item from the list. So we could do mylist.remove, and we can pass in the item we want to remove. So let's remove Aaron. And now let's print my list. And if we do that, we should see no Aaron there. Okay, so Aaron is now gone in the list. We can also extend the list. So what we can do with that is if we want to add a list to a list, we'll use this .extend, so we can add multiple items here. And let's add a few names. So let's do Jimmy, Tommy, and Freddie. And now let's print my list. Okay. And now we've got these names added at the end of the list. And I can create another list. Let's create another list, and we'll make it a copy of my list. And to do that, we do mylist.copy. And now if I want to print my other list, we'll see that my other list has the same names in it as my list. But it's not the same thing in memory. And we can demonstrate that by printing my other list is my list. And that's going to give us false. So if we run that, we get false there. They're not the same thing in memory. It's a copy. We can also reverse the list. So let's do mylist.reverse. And now if I print my list, you'll see it is now in reverse. So we have Freddie, Tommy, Jimmy, Matt, Tim, Joe, Ben, Aaron, and Tim. Okay, we can also loop through a list. So we could do, to do that, we do for item in my list. Well, let's just print out the item. So we'll print the item here, and let's run this, and we get each of the items in the list. So that's a brief introduction to lists. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, could you please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.